Hello and welcome back to Tucking It Up. My name is Tuck, and as you can tell from this look, I like makeup. Other things that I like include video games, and today's look is actually inspired by one of my favorite video games, which is League of Legends. So my favorite character in that game is Lissandra, and if you don't know who she is, look her up. You will love her too, I think, if you kind of like the vibes this look is giving you. But there was a new skin for her recently in the Dark Cosmic line, and so that line and just the Cosmic line in general, the colors, the aesthetics really up my alley, and so I was really inspired to take those colors, to take that vibe, and I wanted to create a makeup look, and this is what I ended up with. So if you want to know how I got here, please stay tuned. What we're going to do today is I'm going to play around with some purples, some blues, black, golds, because what I would like to do with the eyes, create kind of a blown out look. It's going to be like all the colors going to go right up to the brow. Hopefully it's going to be quite blended, but what I want to achieve at the end of this is something that maybe looks a bit like a nebula. And then we're going to apply a lot of those same colors, or some of those same colors, I should say, to the lips. Let's see how that goes. I've already done my skincare, so that's cleansing, toner, and moisturizer. Today, since we're going to kind of go in with quite a heavy amount of makeup, I'm going to actually use a dedicated primer, and the primer that I'm going to go in with is the Innisfree No Sebum Blur Primer. Now that I've got the primer down, my next step is I'm going to go in with foundation. I'm just going to go in straight with foundation. And I'm going to go in with the Buxom Show Some Skin Foundation. I'm in the shade Dim the Light, but I think you can use, for this anything that's like medium to full coverage. I'm just going to do kind of like medium-ish coverage for today. So I've placed some of the foundation in the back of my hand, and I'm just going to dot it, concentrating it in sort of the center of the face, and then blend it out with Beauty Sponge from Real Techniques. I'm pretty happy with that, so now I'm going to go in with some concealer, more to act as a little bit of a highlight versus concealing things, although of course it'll do that as well. For concealer today, I'm going to go in with my usual, which is the tip concealer from the same, and I'm going to use the shades 01 and 1.5, again, because I would like to brighten more than necessarily conceal like spots or anything like that. To set my foundation and concealer today, I'm going to go in with the Kimchi Chic Puff Puff Pass powder in 02 Banana. I'll load up the powder puff, and there's this technique, like the taco technique. So you then fold your powder puff in two, you rub it together, fold it into the other way, kind of rub it together, and then that will lock in the powder, a lot of powder inside the puff itself, and then it just kind of releases as you need it when you're applying it to your face. You just fold it in half like that, you can see the powder come off, you rub it together just to really get all that powder inside the puff. You fold it again the other way. And there you have it. And then any excess I like to just tap off. Okay, so that's the powder on my face. It's a little bit heavy right now, but we are going to just let it sit for a couple of seconds, and then I'm going to brush off the excess with a big fluffy powder brush. So now that I've taken all the dimension out of my face, I'm going to go in and add some back with the Kevyn Aucoin Contour Book. And I think that's contour done. Now that the contour is down, I'm going to go in with some bronzer slash blush from the Kevyn Aucoin Contour Book, and this is in the shade Venice. I'm not going to use too much of either. I kind of want the face to be a little bit paler, a little bit more dead looking, if you will, because I think that works well for the look I'm going for today. To reinforce the coolness of this look a little bit and to give myself just even more of an angular face, I'm going to go in with this darker, slightly cool shade from the NYX Sweet Cheeks palette. And that's it for the base, and we can move on to the eyes. For the eyes, I'm going to start by priming my lids with the Paint Pot from MAC in Soft Ochre, and I want to do this because I want the colors to really pop and to go on really smoothly. To start off the eye look proper, I'm going to go in with my transition shade. It's going to be Venomous Void from the Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. I'm going to use this just kind of sketch out, I should say, the rough shape of the look, but also the size. And I'm just going to go in with a generic blending brush to apply the color quite lightly at first. Now that I've laid out the basic shape and the size, I'm going to go in with the shade Purple Rain from the La Vie en Rose Subversive palette from Pat McGrath, and I'm going to place this on the outer corners as well as in my socket. I'm going to go in with the Wayne Goss number 19 brush again, just to have it be a little bit of a softer application at first, and then as before, I'll go in with a slightly smaller or denser brush just to concentrate and sharpen everything. Now that I have the purple rain down generally, I'm going to go in and refine it and reinforce places where I want it to be darker. Now I'm going to take a pencil brush, this one I think is just from Sigma, and I'm going to use that to kind of really deepen the purple rain inside my socket. To give a little bit more dimension to this look, I'm going to use the shade Smoked Amethyst from the Mothership Mega palette. I'm going to just add this to the outer corner, concentrated also along the socket especially. So I'm going to start by going in with my Wayne Goss number 20 brush. Let's go ahead and finish up that lid. I'm going to do a little kind of cut crease, I guess. And I'm going to take that paint pot, put it onto right up to the socket more or less, and then I'm going to go over most of my lid with the shade Fuchsia Shock from the Mothership Mega palette. As you can see, I didn't do it super precise or anything, because even though it's not really a cut crease. I mean, you're going to be able to see that Fuchsia Shock right there, but it's going to be blended in quite a bit still to the Purple Rain, Venomous Void, that whole socket color area. So let me do the other eye off camera, and I'll be right back. So that's the crease more or less cut. So now it's time for Fuchsia Shock, and I'm going to place that with my Sonia G Builder Pro brush. That's Fuchsia Shock down. So I just gently blended the edges by, patting with that builder brush lightly where it met the other colors. For the lower lash line, I want to bring in a little bit more blue to the look because I think it's lacking right now. And so I'm going to take the Atria Flash Crayon, I believe it is Atria, yes, the Atria Flash Crayon from Linda Hallberg Cosmetics, and line my lower lash line and then smudge it out. To marry everything together, I'm going to set the crayon with more Purple Rain. And let's continue smoking out that lower lash line with a little bit more Venomous Void. I told you this was going to be a blown out look. To finish off the look, I'm going to take the shade Gold Standard. This is in several Pat McGrath palettes, and I think you can even get it as a single. But anyway, any sort of goldy shade will work. And I'm going to take that on a pencil brush, in this case the Wayne Goss number 5, and use that to highlight my inner corner and then just a little bit under the eye. I want the gold to be more prominent in this look, and so I'm going to line my lower waterline with a gold pencil. This one is just from Rimmel. It's in the shape Hypnotic Gold, but again, any gold pencil you have will work for this. So let me do that off camera because that is very tricky with the setup that I have. I'm back. So as you might be able to tell, I did add the gold to my lower waterline. I also took a black pencil and just lined my upper lash line. So as I was doing this, I also realized that the look was not quite blown out enough for me. Like, I think at the edges I could kind of soften it and just kind of make it a little bit more cloud-like. And so that's what I'm going to do. Just take a little bit more of Venomous Void on a fluffy blending brush and just go around the edges. For the eyebrows today, I'm going to go with a very straight, kind of slanted up sort of look. I'm thinking like Spock. So I did my brows off camera. As I said, I wanted them kind of slanting straight up. And as you can see, they're quite graphic and they're quite strong, but I think that's good because then it balances out the really strong eye. So let's go on. For the lips today, I'm going to go in with this shade, this dark purple shade from NYX. It's one of their liquid lipsticks. It's called Oh Put It On. And I think it will be, like I said, it will be quite dark, but it'll help balance out the eye. And when I do an eye as strong as this, I generally like to do also a very dark lip. Again, just because I think it flatters my face quite well when I do it that way. So to start, I'm going to just line my lips with this. It's actually I don't know where I even got this, but it's just like a purple eyeliner. And then I'm going to fill that in with the liquid lipstick. Alright, now I'm going to go in with a lip brush to really refine the shape and the edges. Oh, I forgot to mention, so for the lip shape, what I don't really overdraw my lips too much, and especially with a darker color like this, it makes my lips actually look quite a bit bigger, and so if I overdraw them, I don't like that effect generally. And the other thing is that for the Cupid's bow, I want to make it very kind of sharper, because I think, or make the points quite sharp, because, I think that kind of gives it a bit of a vampiness, villainous more of sort of effect. So to further clean up the edges, I'm going to go and take a little bit of concealer and just make sure everything looks really, really sharp. I'll do that off camera and I will be right back. Well, that was a little trickier than I thought. As much as I love these really dark colors, often you have to be quite perfect with them, especially on camera, right? So today's version is okay. In real life, it looks just fine. On camera, I do think it comes across slightly wonky, but I'm happy enough with it. And I think I can move on to the last step, which is highlighter. For highlighter today, I'm going to go kind of glittery, kind of sparkly. This is not, a subtle, oh look, I just have a sheen from, like a glow within kind of thing. We're not doing that today. We're going to use the Reflex, I always get the name wrong, the Reflects Transparent Teal from MAC. The version I have is quote-unquote limited edition, but I think that's only because of the packaging. The product itself, I think, is always available. So I'm just going to take a fluffy blending brush, brush that down my nose, kind of the high points, and let's see how that goes. And that's the highlighter on. I hope you can see it on camera. In person, it's really quite pretty. It does give your skin kind of a bit of an iridescence, I guess. And I really love the way it reflects. So that's today's look then. After I used the setting spray, I decided I want to add a little bit more glitter, so I put some on the lips. Maybe this was my attempt to kind of disguise that the shape isn't perfect. But overall, I really do like the way this look turned out. It's not quite what I thought I would end up with when I started, but I'm still really quite happy with it. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you would like to see more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, bye!